Black History Month is more than just the month of February to me. I mean, it's, you can't take off the color of your skin. So, being black is every day, and it's just part of the lifestyle that we live, in America especially. And it's just a reminder of how the challenges that we've had to overcome as a people, and as a society, and also to have a lot of pride in everything that we've established in this country, despite the obstacles that we've had to overcome. So Black History Month is important to celebrate, obviously, and to be recognized in the month of February, but it's every single day, in my perspective.
I would say the same thing as well, but it means, I would say it means a Black History Month means extra special, because I'm from Africa, so when they say Black History Month, it means ooh, I get to be celebrated. I feel like I'm welcome there, and it's a good thing to be reminded how special you are, no matter what we face, no matter how many things we go through. It's a special month to just remember how special you are, and as an African, is just extra special because it just reminds me that I'm welcomed, no matter what we face, but they still acknowledge us and stuff.
Yeah, and I also think that the contributions, obviously, of Black Americans, or just even our African heritage, is just so important to recognize, especially during this month. Like you said, we have a whole month, to just exude the pride that we can take in each other, and other people can, I think, celebrate some of those contributions as well. I mean, some of the accomplishments have been just incredible to this nation and to the world, as a matter of fact, right? I mean, those are the things that we get to really just have a lot of pride in.
Well, for me, growing up as a Black female athlete or African, it was different, because when I was home, we were just all the same. We were just really lovely, and we're just in the same page. Then I got a chance to come here, and then I just saw total different thing that I used to see when I was back home. Cause here, the country's more divided, and I got a chance to live in Idaho, where a lot of white people live. So I got a chance to live with a lot of African, and then I got a chance to live with a lot of white people. So I was kind of in the middle, and I got a chance to learn about white people and learn about African. But I agree with what you're saying, because there's a lot of stereotypes and stuff. So growing up as an African, I had to go through a lot stereotypes, like you said. In high school, I was the only Black kid in the team and in the school. So there was a lot of stereotype, and I could hear a lot of bad words and stuff. But again, it's breaking barriers and breaking stereotypes. I had to break a lot, and a lot of people say I couldn't make it and stuff. So you always have something to prove growing up as a black athlete.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think for us, or for me growing up, obviously, different than you. We've always been, taught from a very, very early age, that we mean a lot to this nation, and especially in school. Black History Month was something that you would learn about a few people here and there, but in my household, my mother was a teacher. So when your mother's a teacher, she's constantly going to be feeding you information and constantly telling you, about your ancestors, about the people who come before you, about the things she established. My mother was one of the first Black women in Iowa, in Waterloo, where I grew up, to establish credibility in her profession as well. So it was we would go to this place called Grant Museum, and Grant Museum had just a lot of historical information, and every single classroom would go. So it wasn't just as a family. Our classroom would go, and I would be walking along, looking at the different pictures, and all of a sudden I'd see a picture of my mom. And I'm like, that's my mom, that's my mom up there. And it would say, first, African-American woman too, and she was the first driver's ed teacher in that, to be licensed to do that. And it was amazing, that it's just that close to home, you know, that we're still making history, you know, even now, even in this present age where you would think that it was so long ago, but it really isn't. She made history in a powerful way in her era, and I think we still are continuing to make history. I know you've seen the hashtag, you know, I am Black History. I think I saw your posts. Yeah. They're awesome, by the way. But you know, we are, and we're establishing that on a, not only on a monthly basis, not only in the month of February, but we're establishing that every single day.
The way I look at it is like, if I am, which I am, the only Black kid in the whole team, I look at it as a way to like, for my teammates to learn about Black history. So like, I look at it as a way to teach my teammates or friends like about Black history and what's going on and stuff. And I look at it as a way to learn what they have to say, because this is like an international team, because we only have, 2, 3 kids from America. So like everyone right here is from like somewhere like different. So I look at it as a way like to like learn and actually teach them, and like with especially what's going on right now. So like I think they depend on me and like teaching them like how, like what can they do, help and stuff. So that's the way I look at it. I look at it as a way to like able to teach people about Black history or African.
And I think it's amazing to actually go through this dialogue in this period of time because of some of the history changing, you know, things that have happened, especially with, you know, our first Black vice president, Kamala Harris, but also it's just a reminder too of the things that have come out with Cicely Tyson passing away. You know, she was a fantastic and just, you know, patriarchal woman, you know, for all the things. And one of her interviews was very inspiring to me, but it also reminded me of who we are, who I am, you know, as a Black woman. And that is, she talked about, you know, just making strides in her profession and, you know, just breaking down barriers that would come up against her when she was striving to be an actor, you know. And she always talked about the pecking order, which is actually true in a lot of professions. It's the white male, then the white female, then it's the Black male, and here's the Black woman at the bottom, you know, just clenching on for dear life in society and in, you know, whatever we are striving to do. We're always basically at the bottom. And you know, in my growing up and how I grew up, my mother never treated us that way or ever made me feel like I was at the bottom. Although growing up in Iowa, I was surrounded, you know, by Caucasian, it was, you know, predominantly white community, you know, but she constantly was instilling in me the values of, you know, you push until you can't push anymore. You prove, you know, people wrong. If there's stereotypes, because there was so many stereotypes against Black people, especially in the early 90s, right? Then you break them. You break stereotypes. You be different. At one point in high school, I was the only Black female athlete on the team and in the district that I competed in. Yeah. And you're right. I mean, you know, the first day, the coach tried to break us. You know, we didn't use basketballs for like the whole week. It was all running, you know, and so many people quit. And they expected, you know, especially us, the ones that went out and tried out, to quit because it was so hard. And the stereotype and the connotation about Black athletes, oh, you're an athlete. But can you endure? Like, are you tough? Are you strong? You know, do you have the stamina to fight through pain? You know, because we're going to try really hard to push you to your limit, right? And because I'll never forget this, Coach Pappas, he's like, first week, you know, we're going to do nothing but running, and half of you guys won't be here. Like, that was the challenge. But it was almost like when you're Black, I almost took that as, okay, like, you're challenging me? I'm going to step up to the challenge, you know, and I'm not going to be the one to quit. Yeah. Although my peers, quit. You know, it was like 2 or 3 of us that actually went out who were black. And I was the only one left, you know, that stood there. Now, it wasn't like that every single year, but it was time and time again something that happened, you know, on a regular basis. And you know, it was something that you always had to keep in your mind, that you're fighting for something greater than, you know, what's in front of you.
I feel like I am a little bit inspirational, just because I'm the only Rwandan who's in the D1. So like I feel like a lot of kids back home look up to me, and I do get a lot of messages from like that say they want to be like me and stuff like that. So I feel like I gotta make it for them. So like I always like have like that on my like heart. So like cause and then I feel like being a black female in America, you always have like the black little kids that look up to you, and no matter if they're there or they're not, there's somebody who's looking up to you. So you always have to make it for like somebody. Again, like you always have to prove, like you always feel like you have to prove something, and by proving something, that means that you're helping like the younger generation back to like come up and do the same thing and feel like they're like comfortable like being at the level you are. Like seeing you in a coaching staff like makes me want to be in a coaching staff. So that's how like what you're doing is inspiring me to be in the coaching staff. And I feel like the same thing as well, especially being an African, because I know not a lot of African people get the chance to like to play in the D1, especially in the Pac-12, like the biggest conference in the whole nation. So like me being a Pac-12 like means a lot, and means that I have like a lot of people that was looking up to me, and that I inspired to be better, and yeah, especially back home.
I think we're all in some sort of way an inspiration, especially we have 2 things that we're inspiring young people, you know, and not only just being black, but being a woman. You know, we're in athletics, and athletics is known to be a male-dominant field. So anytime that, you know, we accomplish anything, or we experience successes, or you know, we're doing something, you know, different in this particular setting, like when a predominantly white institution, right? And we're here and every single day, you know, trying to do something better from the next day. I think we're an inspiration. You know, for me, I'm constantly just wanting to support, you know, because I feel like now there's more representation than when I grew up of black athletes. And being in coaching, you know, there's not a lot of black coaches, you know, for the black athletes maybe to look up to. It's growing. I think the field is growing in that area. But I think for me, it's more so that athletes like you can be supported in your endeavors, can feel connected, you know, can have someone to, you know, look upon to say, okay, I can get through this day.
The black male or female that have inspired me, for me, I would have to say my mother, just because she worked so hard for me to be where I am right now, and she still is. She was a single mother. She had to do a lot of job, and she had to get through a lot of ups and downs for me and my siblings to be where we are right now. So like seeing her like fighting every single day, every morning, waking up, going to work, and making sure that her kids gets everything that they wanted, that just inspired me and wanted me to be with like her, and wanting everyone around me to be like her, because she's a hardworking mom, and she still is. No matter if you tell her she's not gonna do it, she's just gonna go and then do it and prove you wrong. And that just like being with me every single time, and I made sure that I appreciated her and tell her that how much she inspires me to be like her. Yeah.
And how much you love her.
Yeah.
The same is true for me. You know, my mother was one of the strongest black women that I've ever known in my life. And I think that it was the same. You know, my dad left our family early on, so she became, single parent household for many years, and watching her, just take on the financial responsibilities, the household responsibilities, full-time work, and then still having to deal with the climate that she was in, as a teacher, is just something that I will never forget. And the lessons that she taught me growing up, and how to carry myself, as a Black woman. And the one thing, she constantly instilled in me: never depend on anyone else to walk or to run or to do whatever you want to accomplish. Never depend on anyone else. Stand on your own 2 feet. She used to tell me that all the time. Besides, okay, your attitude is going to dictate your altitude. She used to tell me that too, because I was just constantly a fighter in my own mind. But she was constantly, just building me up, and never bragged about herself. I didn't learn, Bella, until she passed, that she was an incredible athlete. She competed with the guys, because it was before Title IX. So I saw all these articles about her just breaking records and running track with the guys and playing basketball with the guys. And, I never knew that. She never bragged about herself. She just did the work. She just did what she was supposed to do. She just showed up where she wasn't supposed to be. She wrote letters when she was supposed to write letters, And yeah, and she, I remember one time in particular when we went to a counter and they wouldn't serve us. And we stood there until, she made them serve us. And I'll never forget the lessons, obviously, that my mother, just instilled in me, and she taught us, and so she's definitely the #1 top list of Black women who inspired me. She did everything she possibly could to support us.